I'm having this conversation. I just finished journaling and I was looking at just some updates. I really don't pay attention to US media at all. I'm straight fresh. So no makeup, bare face, none of that. So bear with me. And not to say I'm really not a makeup person anyway. I don't know why I just said that. I'm just not gonna wear makeup that much. I do it when I have to, but for the most part, I'm just not into it. Anyway, this is gonna be a conversation on stablecoin because first of all, it's so much going on, and I was like, "What is stablecoin, and what are they talking about, and what did we miss?" Now, if you're like me and you were trying to figure that out, we're gonna have this conversation today so you can understand what's going on. Because I had to sit back and just research it and look it up, and then look for it. Right. So happy Sunday, first of all. Happy Sunday. Now, I'm just talking practical steps. I'm not, I know everybody's rich on the internet, right? So these is for the everyday people. These are conversations for the everyday practical people, which is the majority of people in the world. Okay. That's where my conversation is always going to fall. It's always going to fall for the majority of people. Not for the minority, but for the majority of people. So stablecoin. So stablecoin basically is this pretty much another crypto. Okay. That is based off of the banking system. I don't know why I didn't go blank. I just was trying to figure out how to say it. So when you think about it, it's like we're starting something uh, like we're starting a whole nother financial structure in the US right now. And I don't think a lot of people realize it because when I read it, it was saying that it was gonna be not by the centralized banking, whatever thing we have set up, whatever structure that we have set up that's creating this whatever America is. So I'm just like, why? Well, first of all, so let's back up. Let me back up. So, as a person who, when crypto first came out, I read, good morning, the white paper. Okay. When crypto really got popular, this was before the pandemic, and everybody was like really, studying it, watching it, this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, let me go figure out what this is because I'm a nerd. At the end of the day, I'm a nerd. So I was like, let me go read it for myself. Let me understand it, etc. I was like, oh, okay. So this was supposed to be decentralized currency. The person who originally created cryptocurrency was working to make sure that people would have a way to do business without having like Big Brother involved. That's what it was at the end of the day. That was like, how most things get created from people getting downloads to create something and bring it into this earth. Okay. That's what the person who created crypto, that was his original intent. Of course, most things, once it gets started, it gets hijacked by the powers that be or whoever wants to play the game, whoever feels like, oh, this should have been mine, whatever it is. We got all these things that be happening in the world. So that's the original intent on crypto. Okay. And so if you remember when it began to get popular in the US then came out and was like, oh, you can't use crypto because it's not regulated, it ain't safe, it ain't backed by the um structures that be, this, that, and the other. Okay. So everybody kind of stopped investing in it. Okay. So like some people, not everybody, but a lot of people like paid attention to the government and they stopped investing in it. They was like, it ain't safe. Why would you play with it? Da da da. The government says this, that, and other. And I always tell you guys, every soul, everybody is living life based off of their perception and what their soul believes. Do not argue with people about what they believe. You do not have the energy for that. You just do what you feel like your perception is and what your soul is supposed to do. I'm not here to do any convincing. I'm not here to ever argue with anybody. I am here to provide. For me, is to build structures, provide them, and for those who get it, they can use it. Simple as that. Everybody has a different calling. That's my calling. That's who I am. And I'm a teacher. Okay. So we're talking about stablecoin this morning. Now, for layman's terms, I'm always break it down for everybody to understand. Not this woo woo why stuff. There's other people do that. I'm gonna break it down for the average person to understand. That's what I'm supposed to do. So that's what we're doing today. So that happened. So a lot of people then got away from crypto, stop investing. Everybody seen Bitcoin go crazy. Y'all seeing XRP going crazy now. If you're paying attention, if you've been paying attention, I've been dropping little hints. Hey, y'all, buy XRP while it's under $2. Buy XRP while it's under $3. Get the XRP. I've been telling you forever. I don't care what income level you're on, because I ain't gonna talk from a level of everybody make over 6 figures. The majority of American citizens make under $75,000 a year. That is the reality. I'm always gonna talk from that perspective. XRP is Ripple. Okay. We're talking stablecoin cryptocurrency. So I've been telling you guys, the dollar is going to take a hit. I don't care what level income you own, you need to diversify your money. Buy your silver coins, get your gold coins, get your cryptocurrency, have some cash. Keep some money in the bank. Most people are only putting the money in the bank that they need to pay their bills now. Most people are not keeping the majority of their money in the bank anymore. That switched about a year or two ago. Okay. Most people understand that the debt in America has outpaced the cost of living and what America can pay back. So what does that mean? That means so you understand in layman's terms, when you spend too much money or your debt is higher than what you make, what happens? Bankruptcy. Okay, you understand that because you know people who have filed bankruptcy. You understand if you pay too much, if you done got too much debt, and all of a sudden your income drop, you try to protect yourself. So now you done filed bankruptcy. This is where America's at. Okay, I'm always gonna break it down to practical knowledge. So what happens when somebody files bankruptcy? Depending upon what type of bankruptcy they file, right? Sometimes assets get taken. Sometimes it's protected. They get to keep it. Something shifts, though, in that person's usually life. So imagine if a country goes bankrupt. That means something's going to shift. This is where we're at with America. This is what they ain't telling y'all. Okay? Because there's no way that they can pay the debt that they owe out. This is why BRICS was formed. BRICS was formed because of the way we handled 2008. No matter what they're trying to tell you, they're just trying to hurt the dollar. They're trying to be they trying to make America bankrupt. No. BRICS was formed because America was not managing its money properly. At the end of the day, however they twisted, that's what it came down to. The reason why the dollar was so strong is because everybody used our money outside of America. So we don't talk in layman's terms. We're not talking where people are just over the moon. We need the everyday people to start understanding what's going on. Okay? Because we did bailouts when we were supposed to crash. We inflated industries. Our money is no longer backed by gold. This is what has happened. Okay. So we're there. Now, what is happening, this is, I'm getting back to the point of stablecoin, but I'm explaining to you how we're getting to this place. Because this is important as you begin to understand the history of what has happened. And I'm not getting into all the details, back from, it's like three significant things that happened in the 1900s. I have it in my phone. I'm not about to go there and try to look for it and all this and that really shifted how America money was. And it's another that's really impacting us now. So it's just, decisions we made over time is now starting to come home and roost. That's literally what's happening to roast. Roost, roast. Which one should we say? I don't know. Y'all get what I'm saying. So you now have where BRICS is formed. Okay. They formed back in 2007, 2008. I don't know which year or whatever, but they were very quiet. They've been strategically on the chessboard making moves. Okay. That's what they've been doing. They've been playing chess while we over here playing checkers in America. That's pretty much what's been happening. So now you're starting to hear about it. Now, if you're in America and you only pay attention to American media, you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. I've started to realize that, but I didn't know that. My fault. I thought that everybody knew about BRICS. So hopefully during the pandemic, you learned to start paying attention to foreign news. If that's the one thing you learned from that, is hopefully you learned to do that. Because you realize that the media in America is only going to tell you what they want you to know. They're not going to tell you the full picture. It's always going to be something manipulated to train your subconscious. They're only going to tell you certain bits and pieces. They're never going to tell you really what's happening. Like, oh yeah, like for example, what happened recently? That was a really good example of what media will do. Okay. Mexico. So Mexico, like everybody knows, like Mexico got the cartel. It's a lot of bad things that happen in Mexico. But people have no clue that Mexico has one of the safest cities on this side of the hemisphere. And in that city, every single community has a grocery store, pharmacy, protection. It is that safe to where people from Canada, US, UK is coming into that city. And they're building like crazy. Because that's how many people they have that's how many families they have moved to that city per month. In Mexico, y'all. And they ain't tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you no. Mexico got one of the safest cities on this side of the hemisphere, meaning safer than any city in Canada, US, Mexico, and South America. Mexico has that city. Go figure. They ain't gonna tell y'all that. So this is the things where I'm trying to explain to you. You have to do your own research. Because it's always going to be propaganda, this, that, and other, etc. So let's get back to what's happening. I just wanted to say that real quick because then you will begin to research on your own. It's very important you start doing this. In the age of information, remember disinformation is always out there too. So you have to take time to read. Reading is going to become your best friend. As AI continues to build into the structure and everybody's on ChatGPT, people are starting to not think for themselves. They're having full conversations with their friends on ChatGPT and not even using their brains anymore. Get back to reading books. I got a book I'm reading right now, but I can't show you because it's actually a book that hasn't been released yet. A friend asked me to read that book, so it's good though. When it comes out, make sure y'all get it. So what is happened? So we got 2008 that's happening. They're playing chess, we're playing checkers. We're so divided in the United States. We call it the divided states of America because we're so polarized. We're so, this is mine, this ain't yours. This is, I'll be glad when we get over this. I think eventually America will get over it and the citizens will realize like, hey, we got to really make sure this becomes a country eventually. We got a lot of things that, we're ashamed of, that we didn't correct, and this and another. But I'm hoping for American citizens eventually, y'all get to the point to realize we got to make sure this becomes a country eventually. The way we've been was founded, the way we got our wealth was totally wrong. We gotta attune for that and get this bad boy to a country. Okay. eventually. So I hopefully one day that'll happen. So you have where the debt has been going through the roof, and so many polarization to where people can't get together and really make any good decisions that truly are going to impact America in a positive way. Okay, I don't care. I don't do that Republican, Democrat stuff because at the end of the day, it's about the citizens. What are we arguing about? It's about the people at the end of the day. So that's been happening. So what's happening now? All our infrastructure, all the things that we have within our financial system is cracking. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, everything. Now, internally, we may not understand it, we don't get it, this, that, and other, but externally, other countries have been paying attention because at the end of the day, everybody else has been using the dollar as their number one, as their I forget what's the technical term over it. Help me if you can. The source of money that they use, meaning their backup money, meaning they've been using the dollar to, do business with, this, that, and other. That's been like the world currency. Okay. But then they're paying attention. 2008 made them like, oh, let's start paying attention to what they're really doing internally. Because why are we going to continue to use their dollar if they themselves don't care about their own dollar? That's pretty much what they're saying. You know how you be with somebody and you like, hey, dude, I need you to take care of your health because, I'm going to take care of you if something happened to you, but I don't want it to be because you just ain't being healthy and you ain't eating right and you not exercising daily. You see me get up, exercise daily. You see me, for the most part, eat healthy. Yeah, if something happens, we got each other, but I ain't gonna do it because you being careless. So America being careless, okay? I'm gonna always throw in the little so you can get it practically. So America been careless with the money. America like, oh, we just gonna print more money, print more money, print more money. We ain't gonna never solve Social Security. Social Security about the trust for Social Security about to go bankrupt by 2033. We ain't gonna fix that. We not gonna deal with it. Like, we just gonna keep printing money. So all the other countries like, oh, they ain't gonna correct. They ain't gonna auto correct. You had that man. You be like, okay, you smoking, you doing this, you doing that. You got this now, you got that, and you ain't gonna stop. So this is what the other country's like, okay, you just gonna continue. And I already told you, I got you if something just happened, but you can't be careless with your health. America like, well, forget it. We gonna be careless. We gonna keep printing. the wealth gap gonna keep riding. We gonna keep, letting everything get to extremes. And we ain't gonna never just autocorrect nothing. So other countries like, okay, this is where some people are like trying to feel like, oh, they're coming against us. I pause with that. Why can't another country use their own currency? First of all, that's number one. Why can't another country, even if they was choosing to use our currency and we're not taking care of our own currency, why can't they choose to be like, hold up, this don't make sense no more. We got to go ahead and back up and begin to take care of ourselves. That's literally what's happening. You can't be mad at them because of that. We the one being careless. That's literally what's happening. So, reason why I'm making this video today is because there's so much going on and a lot of people not paying attention. Huge financial shifts are happening right now. In this 30 days alone. Well, in these last 2 weeks, y'all. So the dollar has lost its ground. I think it's like 10% drop. The last thing I watched, I'm not an economist or nothing like that. The last thing I seen, I think it had dropped by 10%. Now, if you're connected to anybody that lives in another country, they'll be like, my dollar's not going as far as it used to. So if you don't have friends in another country, it's time for you to get friends in another country, because they're going to help you understand what's happening with the dollar before you'll probably understand it, before anybody on media is going to ever tell you. Okay, that means that when they exchange their money to get the currency that they're in, they're not getting as much as they was before. That is a problem, guys. And again, we're going to talk practical stuff. So that's when I was like, oh, something's going on. Let me go look. That's what clued me in that, hey, I start seeing people say this, and I'm like, something is happening. Let me go pay attention. Now, I don't watch the news or media, this, that, and other. I just ask people that watch TV and stuff like that. I say, are you hearing about this? Are you hearing about that? Are they saying anything about this? And they be like, no, Ronnie, they're not saying any of that. I said, Lord, Americans going to be bamboozled. Poor babies. This is not going to be pretty. So I'm like, okay, that's a lot. For the dollar drop that quickly in the last 60 days, that's a huge drop. BOA, Bank of America, has been saying since last year, we believe the dollar is going to collapse. Now they've been writing it. It ain't been on like national news or nothing like that. They just been kind of writing it in their on their, like, I think they do like a president's quarterly letter or something like that. So they've been telling you, hey, we believe the dollar's gonna collapse. They've been saying it like in the fine print stuff. But most people don't pay attention because they're not listening to, like, hey, one of our biggest banks is saying, hey, we think the dollar is going to collapse, y'all. Nobody's paying attention. Because we're all distracted by all the stuff, all the things, the entertainments, the concerts, the this, that, and the other, everything else. Okay. So now what they decided to do is come up with stablecoin, which is where banks are going to pretty much create their own coin. These coins will be backed by the current banking system that we have in the US. Now, it will be sold as, this is more sound, this is more structured, this is more safe for you to use than crypto. Okay. But I already told you what's going on with the dollar. I already told you what's going on with our banking system, what's going on with our financial system. So I'm going to let you come to your own conclusion on that. Because to me, if you haven't corrected the foundation of what is the issue, then how the heck is it going to be more safer? But hey, go off though. We gonna clock it. What the young people say, how they do it, clock it. I ain't on TikTok or nothing, but I see it like on YouTube and IG from time to time. And then I speak a lot in front of young people. So I've learned the little clock it symbol. So what I say do. Now, I'm not an expert, this, that, and other. I think go get to some expert channels, this, that, and other, and pay attention to this. But the main basic thing that what it tells me is that you just got to diversify. Diversification is the name of the game. I don't care what income level you're at. I don't care if you only have $50 extra a month, $100 extra a month. I don't care if it's $200 extra a month. I don't care what it is. Start diversifying your monies. And the reason why I'm telling you do it now is because when it hits the fan, you won't be then trying to figure out, well, how do I move this to crypto? How do I do this? How do I get to this? Go ahead and learn it now. Go ahead and learn the steps now. Learn how to get silver and gold coins. Learn how to buy cryptocurrency. Teach those that you really care about to do it, that have some type of financial basis. have those conversations, y'all. Start having those conversations. If y'all just hanging out, you're at the dinner table, y'all go out to eat. Start having those conversations with your friends, your family, this, that, and the other. I didn't say try to save somebody. I didn't say this, but just start having a conversation amongst everyone. Yeah, this is what's really going on right now. With our money. And to me, at the end of the day, well, figure it all out, because I always remind people, hey, y'all, we used to have horse and buggy and we was doing all the things. We was doing all the things. So ain't that really gonna stop? Human beings are going to always figure it out. We're gonna shift with whatever we have to shift with. Now, I didn't say shifts was gonna be pretty. I didn't say it would come with some things. I didn't say it was gonna be like glorious. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you that at the end of the day, we will figure it out. So that's stablecoin. And that's what you're gonna start hearing a lot about. It's gonna like pop up out of nowhere. You're like, what is this? That's how that was. I kind of seen it because I just follow a lot of different things. I kind of like get information quickly so I can get on with my day and pay attention to what's in front of me. I'm really big of that, so I don't get so distracted in the, mix of things. And so I said, let me sit down and read what the heck this is, because obviously this is not cryptocurrency as I understand it. This is something totally different, evidently. And I was right. So if you were like me and you were like, what is the stable coin that everybody talking about? Why they acting like it's something totally new? That's your breakdown. So with that being said, I wonder, are you going to get stablecoin? Are you going to stick with the traditional crypto? Are you staying in the US? Are you planning to move? Them are like my questions, right now. And if you are staying, are you homesteading? Are you buying your land? Are you getting away from the cities? Are you like, hey, I'm all in it. I'm gonna stay in the city. I'm gonna be part of the AI thing. I'm gonna, ride this to the wheels fall off. Like, where you at? Where you at in it? You like, are you a diehard American? Which part are you in? Which part are you in? That's what I want to know. Everybody gonna make their own decision. I'm just kind of seeing where everybody's at. And it's so interesting because I've been talking about becoming a global citizen for a while. And maybe like the last 5 years. And I know a lot of people was like, what? Why are you talking about leaving? And why would you leave? And this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm a foundational person. I am a person that's like, what is the basics for that city, municipality, country? And then I adjust from there. That is me. Because I feel like the basics and the foundation always impacts everything that you have to deal with in a day. So I'm very much a foundational person. So when I say foundation, I mean, what is the food like? What is the cost of living? What is the crime rate? What is the health care? What is the so we have food, health care, cost of living, the basics. Are the people talking to each other when they walk into the store? Meaning, if you see a stranger, are they saying hi to each other? Do they recognize that's another human being? Or are they like ignoring themselves? Or they in their phone? They're not really talking to each other. Is it like I pay attention? Like, is it a lot of road rage? Is there a lot of homelessness around? Or are people like actually have homes no matter their income level? Them are the things that impacts everybody. Those are the things that I pay attention to. And so I noticed in the US, we always gotta keep water around, honey, that we were getting far away from that the last 5 years. And I was like, oh crap. The foundation is cracking. People are not talking to each other anymore. They're not saying hi to each other. They're not even seeing each other as human beings anymore. It's been so much subconscious stuff driven into the mindset of U.S. citizens that they're not even recognizing that they're next to another human being right now. The foundation impacts everybody. I don't care what your income level is. I don't care what it is. Your basic human self. Now we're getting a little bit into something else, but this is what's coming to me, so I'm gonna share it because I said I was gonna start sharing my morning thoughts because I started to realize that they're not just for me. Impacts a person's well-being. If you're in an environment, whether you're single, married, whatever your thing is, situationships, whatever it is, but if you're in an environment that when you go deal with the outside world, that environment is welcoming. People are saying hi to each other. They're treating each other kind. You see the older people being put up first to get service, to where everybody's moving out the way, where everybody's respecting their elderly. People are not in a rush. People are not having anxiety. They're not, I got to go do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do 5 hustles. I got to do 13 jobs. I got to do. That's our natural rhythm. Our hearts don't move that fast. That's why everybody really depressed and stuff in America. But that's intentional. That's intentional. So that's why I say I pay attention to the foundation, and I started to realize the foundation was cracking. And I said, oh, I know the world about to shift. And it's going to come down to the citizens on that land, how they experience that shift. So everybody in the world is shifting. If you're paying attention to global information, you'll understand or see that every country's going through it some way, somehow right now. Doesn't matter what continent you on. So what does that mean? Being a change agent, a person who creates change, a person that walks into, I have created change in whatever dynamic you want to say, corporate, community, etc. I am that person. One thing I understand about change, it boils down to the people that are experiencing the change. And so when you begin to understand that, and I begin to see that the world is getting ready to go through a major shift, I'm immediately paying attention to the mindset, the foundation of what's happening in that place, country, municipality, providence, I don't care what it is. How are the people treating each other on a basic level? Are they quick to pull out their guns and shoot each other? Are they quick to, have road rage, roll each other off the road? Are they quick to fight? Or are they understanding that's another human being and we don't even think about shooting each other? We don't even go there because I realize that's another person. Because that's what the environment has taught me. Or is it dog eat dog? Or is it competition? Is it ego? So that's when I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm about to get out the US. It ain't fear, it's just that I know the world's getting ready to shift. And I know what it comes down to is the basic mindset and traits of the people in that environment, how the shift is going to be experienced. Now, I like peace. I like tranquility. Oh, I ain't saying I ain't gonna deal with nothing in life, 'cause I know life is a journey, honey. Life is a movie, and honey, I like to be the star of my movie, okay? But I'd be dang if I'ma sit in a place and I know stuff about to go down, and most people are violent inherently because of their environment, not because of that's who they are when they came into this world. It's just that that environment has made them all about ego, competition, dog eat dog. This person don't deserve to live somewhere. This person don't deserve food. This person don't deserve health care. This, honey, I need to be in the places that I already know. Like, okay, everybody a citizen. We gonna make sure our citizens is good. At a minimum, they gonna have the basics. Because that's how them people gonna experience the change on a whole different level than people who are in the US experience the shift. That's why you see people canning, homesteading. This is why people are getting their families together. This, that, and other. Like, oh shoot, we're gonna have to go into protection mode in the US. That's why people are doing it. That's why they're getting their stockpiles together. They're like, y'all. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. I'll say that for another video because that needs to be its own video. But that's why they're getting their stockpiles together. That's why it is those things that are occurring. Okay. Because God is always going to intuitively tell you what to do. Now, either you listen or you don't listen. And everybody's going to choose their own journey in this change and shift that is upon us. Some people are going to, like I said, and you cannot judge. You cannot judge the next person. You cannot be like, oh, no, we not. Y'all stop that mess. It's time for the human race to evolve. I be looking at stuff. I be like, I'm so sick of this. When are we going to evolve? But I know it's going to take some time. So then I have to come back to, okay, just deal with it. So some people are going to decide to stay, and they're going to be all about, we're going to save America. We're going to dump. And they're going to choose that as their journey. Okay. Now, the system has to change. The system has to die. The system it cannot go into what the world energy is as it is. This is why it's cracking from the inside right now and the outside. This energy no longer can exist. Not in what's to come and what has to change. Period. However you list it, whatever they do to try to change it, fearmonger you, this, that. This is no longer acceptable. That's just where we're at. Okay, so some people gonna choose like we gonna die with what's dying. You got to be okay with that. Some people are gonna understand it's time to get community. It's time to come together. It's time to start farming, start doing this, doing that. You see it, you pay attention. If you haven't paid attention, start paying attention today. You'll see a lot of people doing it already. They're already pulling together. And some people are gonna be like that, and they're like, I'm gonna stay in America for whatever reason, and this, that, and the other, but we're gonna have community. We're gonna pull together, we're gonna help each other, we're gonna survive through this. Some people are deciding to get out. Some be like, you know what? We selling everything, we out. I ain't doing this mess. I'm not playing this game. I done had enough of this. We already been dealing with enough. It doesn't have the things that I'm looking for on a foundational level, and people are just at odds. I'm over it, and that's okay too, y'all. All the levels are okay because every soul decides what their journey is going to be for them. And some are going to be in between. They're going to be in the US, they're going to be out the US. They're going to be like, okay, I need to get away from this craziness. I'm going to be gone for 6 months, and I'm going to come back for 6 months, and then I'm going to help y'all out a little bit. Or I'm going to help my family, I'm going to help my one person, or whatever that may be. And I already said this, and I'll keep saying this because I think this is so important for people to understand. Community does not mean you have to be around 50, 100 people, 50,000 people, 100,000 people, this, that, and other. Community could be one person outside of yourself. That is community, y'all. You should have one person at this time, no matter your relationship status. Because what people get caught up in, because I don't know what that is. That's some other type of program they're running. I don't know. But get caught up all in relationship is always about, I have to have a mate, I have to have a husband, or I don't have a relationship, this and that. Listen to me. You need to have community. I don't care what your relationship status is. You should have one person outside of yourself. If that's all you can find and identify as that one person outside of yourself, then no matter what happens, what goes down, they got your back when it comes down to it. That is community, y'all. America has made everybody hyper independent, and it keeps telling you this is why the environment in America is not where it needs to be to really have a good shift. Every country, continent in the world is going to go through the shift. That's why I go back to the foundation of America and why it's going to be so hard for America. At the end of the day, it's going to be hard because of what has been trained inside the mindsets and the fear mongering and the programming that has happened to the people in America. And the polarization. That's what it's going to come down to. Because other countries, honey, they clocked our teeth so bad one time. I was like, ooh, don't hurt us like that. Don't hurt us like that. They're going to know this is a human being next to me. And I ain't going to try to take or steal. We going to pull together and we going to get through this. That's going to be their natural process. Yes, we got some people that are like that in the U.S., but we also know we got people who are on the other end of it, on the other extreme of it. And we also know a lot of people are just, we love our guns. We love our guns. How dare you tell me to get rid of my gun? That is protecting myself. It's countries that don't even have guns. They citizens don't even have. Why does a citizen, at the end of the day, why does a citizen need guns? Let's be real. We got school shootings. People be like, how y'all living? And y'all got school shootings. Like people in other countries like, what is wrong with them? Yeah, we think this shit normal. This shit ain't normal, y'all. This ain't normal. We done made it normal for us, but this is not normal in the world. So that's why a lot of people are deciding, hey, let's go ahead and get out. We're normalizing things that are not normal for human beings. So everybody's gonna choose their own journey in this, and be okay with that. Don't argue with them. Don't let people be what they gotta do for them, what they feel like is right. It's their perception, it's their reality, it's their soul. They're the ones that have to make the decision for their life. Okay? Let it be. It's gonna be okay, y'all. It's gonna be okay at the end of the day. It's gonna be okay. So for me, I've been talking about it for like 5 years now. And of course, I have responsibility like everybody else. I'm a whole human being. Personal responsibility as well, things I'm dealing with. So they're like, oh, you just been saying it. I'm like, yeah, a lot of times for me, what I realize, I have to like shift my mind. And so my shifting of my mind is usually me starting to say it out loud. And then eventually it just happens. And people are like, how she just leave overnight? It wasn't overnight. It was a process. Trust me. And then when it happens, it just happens because I'm speaking it into my life. Your words have power. Y'all be reading the Bible and y'all be hearing people say stuff and say, but y'all don't believe it. It ain't connected the dots yet all the way to say, oh, what I'm speaking is really happening in my reality. Like, seriously, that's how it goes. So I'm speaking it. Because I know my soul is, honey, I always say I got a different soul than America. I don't know what that is. I know I was born here, but I always feel like my soul was like more Caribbean, South America. I don't know. It's like my soul be different than most of the people. I be like, my soul be, honey. My soul's just different. I can deal with the nonsense. I can definitely deal with the egotism. I can deal with the competition. I can deal with the nonsense, but honestly, I'll be like, this is so. Do we have to do this? Do we really have to do this? I can deal with it all. Definitely my makeup comes with the honey, with all the things, but on a daily basis, I be want to just be about, hey, we all human beings. Let's do what we gotta do. So that's what just came over. Like this, the end of this, end up switching totally. Sorry, that's what just came to mind. So I wanted to talk about that because I think that's important to continue to put out there because we're so polarized in America, we're so just at each other's necks right now. We're just like that's just annoying. I'm like, what is y'all? Why y'all arguing so much? And I'm hoping this is a process to get us to some type of you know, level headedness for most of the citizens in the US. That's what I'll say. I'm hoping this is just a process that America has to go through because it's been about all the wrong things. The foundations of America is extraction, death, sickness, war, everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. And I'll be like, when do we just stop? Like, I'm not saying socialism the way. I'm not even saying capitalism. Unregulated capitalism is just like crazy though. Like this is we everything for sale. Everything. We ain't got no type of that ain't for sale. We not gonna cross that line. This everything for sale, honey. I'll be like, they'll create a problem, then they'll create the solution, but then that's for sale. They'll do this, but then this is when you sit back and look, you be like, this is weird. Why is everything for sale? Like I went into a whole thing about funeral costs. I've had to bury a lot of people in my life and dealt with, family dynamics, this, that, and other, etc. The cost, this, that, and other. And so something just made me look at it the other day. I was like, what? Let me back up. Don't tell me the funerals is for sale too in America. So then I looked at us like, okay, what is the cost of a funeral in other places? And how do they handle the cost of funerals? So I look up again. This is where I be like, everything for sale in America. That's the problem. Like, really, it's because everything for sale. We got to fix that first. A lot of countries, they actually see this as a sacred thing. So it's like, no, the cost is regulated, number one. Number two, some countries, it's just automatically part of your citizenship. You get buried. And, it ain't no no ridiculous cost. The industry is not private. And they see death as a sacred thing, which it really is, y'all. When a soul passes over, that is really sacred. But here we are selling it in America. Y'all, we just, honey, that's why they be saying America, Babylon, and we cursed. This land is cursed, honey. That's what they be talking about. That's when you realize like everything, like we ain't gonna stop. We just go everything for sale, honey. When I say everything, I'm talking about everything. Yes, that too. Whatever you just thought about, that too. So I'll be like, Lord, we just lost it. We done went overboard in America. I'm like, yeah, we just ain't gonna stop. We just gonna keep going overboard. We just ain't gonna be like, this is enough. This is where we at. But I think eventually Americans will get there. Now, what it will take, how we get there, I don't know. I'm concerned about that whole process because I feel like it shouldn't take a whole lot, just being real. But I feel like, we're stubborn, so it's gonna take a lot. I think this is the way it goes. And then we also got to deal with the white supremacy structure that ain't never been dealt with yet. And I feel like I know America's one big foundation of that whole structure. And so, of course, they're going to do everything to try to save it. Because one empire, once one empire falls, it's not like it just walks away and be like, okay, well, we'll let go of power. Of course, they're going to fight for it. And this, that, and the other. So it's just the Western world countries have to shift heavily. And that's what's happening. If you pay attention, the UK is going through it, Canada's going through it, the US is going through it. That is our turn to like shift majorly. The energy has shifted in the globe, so we gotta change. But it's gonna be those who believe it has to stay the same, and that's all you're seeing. So it feels like everybody's being attacked. It's like, oh my God, they're attacking. They're attacking. No, they're trying to save themselves, honey. They are in fear. They are scared right now. They see their structures and everything falling. That's really what's happening. And you're in the environment, so you feel under attack. That's what's happening at the end of the day. And hopefully you are paying attention, whoever whatever spiritual system you're under, because I don't never put my personal beliefs on anybody else, but whatever spiritual, if you're still, definitely connected to people who are outside of you that's teaching you stuff, this and other, hopefully they are giving you the messages I'm giving you today. And they are letting you know, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen. Because if they're over any type of flock, it's their duty to tell you what is going on and to prepare you, not to scare you, and then begin to help you to understand that God is connected to you directly. And so God is going to be giving you the downloads you need to know how to move for yourself. Now, hopefully, whoever you listening to is telling you that. Because that's where we're shifting. Well, that's where it's always should have been. We were just kind of under some water and under a lot of spells and this, that, and other. But the spells are breaking. So as they break, people are going to be like, the world is ending. Oh my God, we're we're this, that, and other. We're in the last days. Yeah, the last days probably going to last for 2,000 years. You is not about to see the last days, honey. One structure is falling, the other structure is rising. Absolutely. The old world is no longer going to be in existence. Absolutely. And if you continue to hold on to the old world, you have a possibility of dying with the old world. You have to move on to the new world. Y'all take things way too outside of yourself. Bring it back into practical terms and read what it's telling you and apply it to your basic life. And then you will come back down and understand. So hopefully this helps somebody. This was so random. I didn't think I'd be talking this long. I had a lot to do on a Sunday. I got some peeps coming in town and all these things, and I got things I got to do tomorrow. So it's like, you got to get prepared for the week. But I just wanted to send that message out. Like I said, I promised. I don't know. Something hit me the other day. I was just like, I gotta start getting these messages out. And so I was like, I'm gonna promise I'm gonna, whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna go live, whether I'm driving, this and other. If it hits me and I feel like it's a message that needs to get out there for those who are ready to receive it, let me put it out there. I don't say much. I don't really care for social media. I'm just not that person. Let's be honest. But I was like, oh, this is for other folks to like actually start hearing this, because it's other people that need to start hearing what's coming to me. This ain't for me. Because once I was listening, I was like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This I already understand this. So, oh, this is for other people, for me to get it out to them. So I was like, let me start sharing as it happens. And giving you guys that information so that you can be, manage the shift well. And don't forget, and this is the other thing, y'all. And I'm gonna go back to what we used to say during the pandemic. As things shift, a lot will change. Do not try not to get into despair. Still remember that joy, rest is still part of all the process. Joy, rest, living life. Like I said, life is a movie, honey. You are the star of your life. You're going through the chapters. You're writing your book. You're this, that, and the other. You're dealing with the ups, the downs, the journeys, the ending of relationships, the beginning of new relationships, the excitement, the success, the failures. It's all of that, honey. It's a movie. Keep running that film, baby. Just remember that. Even with all the changes that are upon us, life is a movie. Keep running your film, boo boo. So I'm gonna tell you all the things, all the things. Keep living life. You're here to experience it. You're here to enjoy it. You're here to all the things, honey. Do them all. Whatever that is for you. Don't get so caught up into what other people are doing and they just seem like their world is like so happiness, what I want, this and that. That may not be for you. You got to figure out what is for you. And this is critical. The reason why I always bring it down to the individual person, because I understand that each individual person have souls that they are assigned to. And if at least if one of those individual person that had in that soul family is understanding to ground and to stay at peace and to understand life is a movie and to keep moving and to learn how when to take a step back and whatever they need, if it's therapy, if it's psycho analysis, if it's this, if it's that, and continue to be able to move, then they're going to impact the souls that's connected to them positively. Honey, them lights that spark, the light is always greater than the darkness. Always. Now the melanin is the truth though. We talk about that later. That the melanin is the thing, boo boo, honey. I ain't gonna get into that like right now, but honey, we the truth, okay? But at the end of the day, all of us matter. Everybody does, to be honest. We're all part of this collective. We're all under the collective energy. We're all shifting, whether you want to or not. Yes, I know it's a lot of all this, and that, the racism, the oppression, the caste system, the what is it? The wealth gap, the all the stuff, that's been impacting us and our families and this, that, and other, and all the things that happen, right? And all of us are dealing with it at different levels. And everybody had different perspectives. And that's always going to be the case. Everybody's going to have different understanding, different levels. It's going to be those of us who have higher levels than others. Some are just stuck in certain vibrations. Some of us are on higher vibrations. That's the world we in, y'all. We in a freaking environment with other people. Everybody's never going to be the same. So, it can be frustrating at times. Trust me, honey. I be having my frustrations too. Trust me, we all go through it, boo boo. My world has not been nowhere near perfect at all. But what I have learned is life is a movie and I'm going to keep rolling. Regardless. So, whenever you watch this live, whenever you watch this video, if it's in the future, whatever, I hope it helps you. I hope you're having a good morning, a good evening, or a good night. Whenever you catch this, enjoy this morning conversations with you guys in YouTube world land. And so forth, So I hope I came on here like straight barefaced today. But I hope that you really get something from this, because I feel like a lot of people need to hear this message. And I honestly didn't know that this conversation wasn't happening, amongst people. So I'll start trying to do a better job of getting the information out that I am aware of. Now, I'm not no expert. I'm gonna tell you, go to the experts. I'm gonna make it practical, and then hopefully you start digging more in whatever ways you feel like you need to. And that's just really important because at the end of the day, y'all, we actually here, we're all connected to each other and we're here to help each other. That's what it boils down to be honest. With all the hate, all the love, all the things, that's really what it boils down to. And we're all under the collective energy. So, yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say. When I was going back to like, I've been looking for 5 years. So, what was interesting to me, and I didn't even realize it, that the last year or two, a lot of the people that I'm connected to are now like, hey, I'm about to get up out the US. This is before our current president got in office. It has just been a natural. I'm like, oh, really? You really think about leaving? What? Like, what happened? Why did you decide? Because I'm inquisitive, so I'll be always taking data in and analyzing it. And a lot of it comes down to the basics. It comes down to a lot of people just don't want to work for the rest of their life. Nobody wants to be in a country where you don't see that you can't stop working. Some people are just sick of the polarization. They're just sick of the constant heavy oppression. Yes, racism can exist in a lot of places, but the level of racism and oppression and caste and classes and stuff we experience in America is on a whole nother level. It's like in our foundation. So it's a big difference than going to a country where you just pay for what you can afford and they're like, oh yeah, you got a place to live, than dealing with being your credit check. It's a whole different ballgame, y'all. That just creates a whole different dynamic in that environment. So people really see people as human beings. I still boil down to, it's coming down to people just, you want to be in a place that people probably see people as human beings. And your food and everything's not tampered with. And you're eating real food, whether it be fruit, this, that, and other, etc. And everything's not for sale. We're not playing with people's lives. I think, where I give America credit is, and I'm not like one of those that's just like, oh, America's just I'm just like, America needs to improve because I'm a citizen and I pay taxes here. And I have a right to say that. And that's where I was born at. And who wants to see their home country go to shits? Not me. But if it doesn't change, what else is going to happen? It ain't like it ever became a full country anyway for all the citizens, because we already know all the things that existed. We know how America became the rich country it was off of free labor. So a lot of people don't understand that, right? So that's why America has to attune for how its foundation is, and that's how America is going to end up getting better. If they don't attune, that's that karma. They on the wrong frequency. They got to attune so they can get off that frequency. That's really what it boils down to. But one thing I'll say, America's structure is very difficult because I'm a builder. So it's a very difficult to, once you create the structure and the foundation of anything, and this is what I do. Let's say that structure is cracked, is based off of the wrong things, etc. It's very difficult to then change that structure. So at the end of the day, America's main structure, core of its money, is war, death, sickness. Everything's for sale. That's where the majority of his money came from. It wasn't based off of healthy people, being sovereign, not having war, staying out of people's business. Those were not the core of America. So it's very difficult to change a structure's foundation into something else. So it's not as easy as a shift as some people may say this and that. So I understand that complexity in it because it was so based off of all the wrong things. But it has to shift because we are one of the youngest countries. And so other countries, honey, we got our T clocked by South Africa, honey. He clocked our T. Other countries have been around way longer. Countries are like, hey, y'all the newbie on the block. We done survived. We gonna be here another 500 years. We see if y'all make it. I'm like, dang. Ouch. That hurt. as an American citizen. I was like, you know how you get red, you be like, oh, you right. That's pretty much what they telling us. They're like, look, y'all the newbie. Y'all had a good run. We need y'all to shift and change. Either y'all get with the program or, you know, you're going to be on your island. They done put us on the island already. We on the island, y'all, right now. And they talking mess to us. They're like, you know, we gonna pay it together. We know how to survive through the. What y'all gonna do? They clocking our tea right now. They giving it to us. I'm like, you right. We a little spoiled. We don't know how to work together. We'll get it. We'll get that we all humans and stuff, honey. You can't do the but laugh and stuff sometimes. You like, dang, I tell you getting clocked. Oh, I tell you getting clocked right there. I get headed to us being the newbies, honey. You're like, we citizens. We know each other, human beings. We gonna pull together. We gonna make sure we all eat. We ain't gonna be trying to kill each other, steal from each other, this, that, and other. What y'all gonna be over there doing? We gonna be able to survive. Again, it comes down to that basic environment. It comes down to that basic structure. I'm telling you, when you start sitting back and look at the thing, you're like, yeah, it's the basics. What's the natural day to day? That's how they gonna survive the shift. That's what it boils down to. You know, you like you were because we're so polarized around the country, and you know everybody's all this, and that, this, and that, and everybody done been able to come to America and take advantage of the not having to pay a lot of taxes if you're extremely rich and being able to make a good amount for your family, send it back home, and this, that, and other. But a lot of people didn't realize the sacrifice that certain people made so that could be a thing, and then they didn't even get to take advantage of it. So America has to attune for that injustice and all the other injustices that is done around the world and so forth, so that it can get off of that frequency that it's on, so that the citizens can then begin to rise up and see each other as human beings. But that's not a simple thing. I'm saying it very simple, but that's not a very simple thing to happen, right? That's what we're literally going through, attunement. America's 250th birthday is next year. Every major empire goes through a major shift once they hit 250 years. They either decide to shift and change and become better for all the citizens, or they shift and they end up dying. So that's pretty much what you're hearing right now, right? But hey, that tea that they clocking for us right now, it's hard to be American citizens right now. So they be like, you gonna stop talking about us though. Now, you gon' we gonna get it together. I'm praying we get it together. I'm praying regardless of where I end up being. I'm praying we get it together. I'm hoping we do. At the end of the day, that's my objective. That is my hope for American citizens, that we really do get it together. Like eventually, like we really begin to understand. Like, y'all, ain't no reason for us to fight each other. We got to make sure this world works for all of us. Now, I think that's a lot to do, a lot to happen, because usually what happens in America, system and structure is always being used to keep things oppressed and keep racism at play. You know, when people really get back down to it, they start looking at stuff and they be like, this was created because of racism. This was created so somebody wouldn't have. This was created so this person wouldn't take advantage of this. They allowed these people in so that it could really make certain people an underclass. Like, this is what happened. Like, a lot of people don't understand that, but usually it always boils back down to the foundational structure of what America is. And so everybody's like, so this was created for racism too? Like, and that's what people start to like wake up and see. So you see people having these realizations, and I'm like, okay, people starting to understand now. So America, so it's some hope there. It's some hope there. It's some hope there. It's some hope there. Now, this is why I always say every soul is going to choose its own journey, and you have to be okay with it. And I'm telling you to get okay with that, because you're going to see some major shifts happen here really quickly. And so you're gonna have to like be like okay with that. Like even if it's your family, like I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. I'm done. I'm gonna go homestead. I'm selling everything. I'm gonna buy some land. Wish them the best. That's what their soul's deciding to do. Don't be mad because they don't deal with the chaos. And it's souls that are assigned to deal with the chaos. And if they decide to do the chaos, wish them the best. I hope you make it through it. You know, whatever they decide, it's for everybody to decide their own place and which way they're going to go. Just be okay with it. You know, so we can stop all this, you know, unnecessary arguing so y'all can stop attacking each other and stop dying for no reason. Disease ain't nothing but stress, anxiety, you know, this at the basis of it. Okay? Whatever disease you want to top it down to, when you start listening to people, especially if they survived it and they came back on the other end of it, what they don't play about? They food and they peace. So it don't take all that just to understand people deserve that in life. You know, I'm not talking about the normal stuff you go through in life. You know, stuff happens. It's a journey. You're gonna have people that go through everything, right? But some stuff is just so unnecessary to experience, and a lot of us end up dealing with it because of the environment, right? And one thing I've been saying that, well, one thing that's been coming to me lately, and this is one thing where, you know, I don't know what, and we didn't come up with a new structure, new system. Like when America fall and it be time to rebuild, you know, I'm all about the build, so I'd be happy to come back and help rebuild. But I feel like one thing I have said that has really hit home with me recently this year. Now I've been saying America needs to deal with its foundation, and if it doesn't, the foundation gonna deal with America. I've been saying that for about 10 years now. If you were to go back and look at, when I used to be on social media, I used to like randomly say that all the time. Now we're there. I was like, it's like I'm futuristic in a way. Like it's like, okay, put out the warning. Somebody may grab it and really pay attention to it. Some people don't, you know. So I was just like, oh shit, we gonna have to go through it. But one thing I'll say that I really noticed that has really stuck with me. This is where Americans have to get to this understanding. Y'all have to stop blaming each other for what is going on. Okay? And the reason why I say this is because you have to begin to understand that the environment is creating what is happening in that environment. And when I say this is what I'm saying. However, the majority of your citizens are behaving, acting, living, doing, whatever traits they have, whether they can't read, they can read, whether they have homes, don't have homes, whether they're rich, not rich, whether they have enough income, have enough for emergencies, whether they don't, that overall archery environment that they are in is creating that standard citizen. However you want to twist it, however you want to say it's not the case, however you want to act as if that is not the reality, that is the reality. Other countries understand this. This is why other countries ban certain foods. This is why other countries don't allow certain things, like certain social medias. That's why even on their algorithms, social media is a whole different ball game, meaning the things that people can see. That's why other countries, their police officers are truly courtesy officers too. They're constantly changing the mindset of their citizens to treat each other well, because they understand the environment is predicting what the average citizen is experiencing. That is the one thing that Americans have to get to begin to understand. It's not about hyper individualism, it's about the environment we are in. Once we leave outside of our doors, that is what is training our subconscious, whatever we're scrolling and seeing on social media. This is why people are banning porn. People are banning different things. This is why it's not a free for all. This is why some countries you go to, you can't even access Facebook. You can't even access certain social medias. Or if you get on their social media, the algorithm and what you're seeing is so different. It's about education. It's about love. It's about families. It's about this. You're not seeing the constant back and forth, and that environment is dictating how that average citizen is behaving. America has to get to that understanding. America gets that understanding. I feel like America will begin to get better and understand. It's the environment. Now, I think it was a free for all for a certain reason. I have my theories around that. Why? I may get that into get into that one day, but I think, that time is over with and enough data is in the world, and it's no longer necessary to collect the data. So America now can become a country. That's what I believe. Well, I'll just say it I'll say it in those type of terms. So, now what type of country we become, what type of things happen after the changeover, we shall see. And I think eventually it'll get figured out. I think eventually it will, in all honesty. So let me go. That just came to me. I wanted to get that out there too. I will talk to you guys another day when I have another random thought on the morning. Again, these are practical things. This is not, I'm probably not gonna ever really come from expert level on YouTube. It's probably gonna only like when I teach class, those type of things, those things. And I am working on some things to put out, of course. Because I'm getting into getting older. So, I'm going into straight. Let me sit back in mentor mode. Let me sit back and it's time for the young people to be out there, honey. I ain't trying to be running and hustling all my life. So, it's time for y'all to get out here and do what you do. It's y'all turn. I always say Gen X is gonna be the dopest elders around. I'm claiming that, honey. We bringing eldership back, and it's gonna be on a whole nother level. I always say that. So, so whenever you catch this live, whatever's happening in your life, I hope you're having a blessed one. I hope this helps you. I hope it gives you some practical steps to start taking. I hope it helps you to begin to understand people more. I hope it helps you tap in to your innate human being quality. I'll talk to you guys later. Be blessed.